Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the show. In today's video, I want to talk to you about how to handle your woodworking business sales objections. These are all the objections that you get when you're trying to sell something inside of your business. Let's dive in. All right, well, as always, welcome back to the show. I'm so grateful for your time and your attention. And I want to talk to you today about all the objections that you're going to get when you start selling stuff. I'm going to give you some practical tips and tools that you can use to sell to people that don't seem to want to make a decision, okay? So first of all, I just want to distill this down to human nature. Let's talk about human nature. People don't love making decisions in general. Some people do, and those people are a blessing from the Lord, but most people do not. They put off things that they should have taken care of. If it requires them spending money, they don't want to do it. So what we want to do is if someone's come to your business and they're like, hey, I'm interested in learning more about this, obviously they're considering purchasing something, right? Otherwise, you would have never heard from them. So we need to understand that if they're talking to you, they're interested. Okay, they're interested in buying whatever you have to sell. So we want to keep it conversational. We want to ask them questions until we get to the point where we know exactly what they want. Then we want to get them a quote as quickly as we can. Once we get them a quote, we want to immediately say, what are your thoughts on that? I see people go wrong in this all the time. So we want to have a personality. You probably have some type of personality. It might be like that of a rock, but you might have some type of personality. So use your personality, connect with your prospect, find common ground, and the more rapport that you build and the better job that you do on the front end solving problems, the less that price is going to be an objection for them. So we want to really focus on that and make sure that we do that, okay? So that's kind of step number one. Then once you give the price, you're going to start getting objections. Now, side note, if you're chatting with somebody on, let's say, Facebook Messenger, there's going to be less of a percentage that you're going to close that sale than if you were on the phone with that prospect. And that, being on the phone, there's even less of a percent that you're going to close that as opposed to being face-to-face with a prospect. So anytime that you get a message, try to push to a phone call. If you can't push to a phone call, try to push to a one-on-one visit. If you can't push to those things, do the best with what you have, which is Messenger. Okay, let's talk about some of the objections that you're going to see and my advice to handle those objections. The first one that I see all the time is, well, we really need to think about it. We don't make any rash decisions. This is a super common objection. Now, one of the keys to being able to handle objections is to have rapport built with the client. If you don't have anything in common with the client, if you can't speak candidly or honestly with one another, you're going to really have a difficult time with some of the objections. This is one of those ones that if you have built rapport with the client, then what you can do is you can say, okay, totally understand. And side note, we always agree with the client. We always agree with the prospect. We never disagree with them. Hey, Mrs. Prospect, Mrs. Potential Client, Mr. Client, whatever. Totally understand where you're coming from. I don't like making rash decisions either. But it does seem like maybe you've been following us for a while. You know, you've reached out to me. You had enough interest to get some information. So really, if you don't mind me asking, what is it specifically that you feel like you need to think about? That's how you handle that objection. And they'll say, oh, well, we don't really know about the price, or we don't know if it's exactly what we want, or we really haven't done a lot of shopping yet. Okay. So other than the price, is there anything else that you feel like you need clarity on before you can be confident and make a decision? Well, we need to make sure that it would work inside of our space. Totally understand. Absolutely. I mean, it would be really silly for us to do a table and it not fit your space, right? So other than price and that, is there anything else that you feel like would be a deterrent, or anything else that you feel like would keep you from being able to move forward? No, that's really it. Okay, well, let's talk about the price. What was your budget? What was your hope to numbers in regards to the price? And then you're back into the sale. You're back into trying to close the sale. But if you let people walk out the door, or you let people get off the conversation, and you never pulled the objections out of people so that you could address the objections, then you're never going to win. You've got to figure out how to pull out objections so that you can address objections and figure out how to win. Okay, number 2, I need to talk to my spouse. Well, okay, this totally works, but I need to talk to my spouse. This is one of the most common objections that we get, and it's one of the most difficult You don't want to be the reason that people get divorced or hate each other, or the husband goes, surprise, I bought you a new table, and the wife hates it, right? So they need to talk. But I always like to ask, okay, totally understand. So when do you think you're going to get a chance to visit with them about this? And so then I set up a schedule to reconnect with the prospect. Okay, totally understand. And when on this conversation, is it mainly a price thing? Have they seen the table before? Have they seen the product? Do they know that you're talking to me? Where's their involvement at this level? Do you think they'll have any questions for me? So what I like to do is I always like to come back to helping them solve their problems. Listen, if you're talking to a woman and she really wants a table and she tells you that she needs to talk to her spouse, and you can tell that she really wants a table and she's going to try to convince her spouse, well then make sure that you are a resource to her. Make sure that you are a place where if he has any questions, here's my contact information. Have him reach out to me directly. You guys are welcome to come in together. Put me on a group call. However I can help you, let me help you. And so we can't necessarily like immediately fix this let me talk to my spouse objection when it comes to selling products. Now, if you're like helping somebody change their life, sometimes you can. If it's selling products or building an aesthetic in their home, it's a little bit more challenging. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, I'm going to keep this episode short. I really wanted to cover the top 2 objections, which really are, we need to think about it, and then I need to talk to my spouse. I wanted to talk to you about tonality. And so this is something that is one of those things that I blew off for a really long time. But I'm realizing the older I get, the more sales environments that I find myself in, how important tonality is. And this is the tone in which you speak, right? That's what tonality is, right? And this is one of those things that seems really minuscule, but it just carries so much weight. And I'm going to tell you why. Because people have been trained to understand what a salesperson sounds like. Let me tell you exactly. This is my demo of what a salesperson sounds like. Well, hey there, how's it going? Hey, I would love to talk to you about blah, 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 blah. I'm calling from such and such today, and let me tell you about why you need blank, right? Like, salespeople have been trained to be overly energetic. You want to have so much energy. People smell that from a mile away. It smells like crap, okay? People smell that, they don't like it, and it immediately strikes fear into their heart. People hate being sold, right? So what we want to do is we want to talk to these people like they're our friend. We want to talk to these people like we're a consultant for them, like we want to help them. The same tonality that I'm using with you right now inside of this video is the same way that we want to talk with potential customers. And if somebody gets on the phone with you and they're like, well, why should we pick you? The number one thing most people try to do is they try to convince, in that scenario, they immediately go to convincing the customer why they should pick them. But one of the best things you can do is you can say, well, Mr. Customer, I honestly am not sure that you should yet, because I don't know exactly what your needs are. We haven't gotten to visit yet. I want to make sure that we are actually, in fact, a good fit for you. And if we are, then maybe we can move forward together. But let's start and see if what I even offer is a good fit for what you're looking for. And this is how you handle high-ticket sales. This is how you handle these conversations. If you have specific questions about objections that you seem to get often, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to do some more videos handling more sales objections. Or if there's a certain way that you've handled the objections that I brought up in this video that was a little bit different than me, I would love to hear how you do it below as well. So with that being said, guys, if this video was valuable to you at all, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow the channel and reach more and more woodworkers and handmade business owners around the world, around the country. And if you are a woodworker trying to grow your woodworking business, trying to scale it from that $2,000 to $8,000 mark, trying to get up past 10, past 20, then go ahead and apply for the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. Listen, I want to be a resource to you. I want to help you out. And I know that inside that program, you're going to get incredible results. And so with that being said, I am going to wrap it up. I love you guys very much. Thank you for your love and support thus far, and I'll see you in the next video.